Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Grumpy Dads. Before we go on any further, I want you to hop on now, hit like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so that you know when we've got new content coming up. With us, as always, is Chris.
Hello, mate. And this week, we are privileged to interview Joshua Williams. How you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm good. Good.
Good. As always, we are going to kick off with icebreaker antics. I don't know if you've ever watched an episode before, but I'll explain it to new viewers. I scour the net looking for 1-star reviews. You've got to guess the product based on the reviews. If you guess it on the first guess, it's 3 stars. On the second guess, it's 2 stars. On the last guess is 1 star. Duncan will be on your team, and it's 1 guess per review. Right, first review. The post vibration is horrible. I can't use this, and it's affected my score.
The first thing that comes to my head, probably came to your head too.
Yeah.
But it's not that. I'm thinking about a toothbrush.
It's not a toothbrush. I've never heard the phrase post vibration. I've never heard that before.
Post vibration.
Post vibration is horrible. I can't use this, and it's affected my score.
I'm going to go with a game controller.
It is not. That's a very good guess.
That was a guess.
Not. Second review. The aftershock is vile. After use, it makes my hand numb.
I'm wondering if you've actually picked a vibrator this time, just to throw us off.
I don't know. Yeah, definitely throwing us off.
It is. I will give you a clue. It's not a sex toy. Okay, so.
Oh, a tennis racket.
It's not correct. Tennis racket. Good guess.
Damn it.
What's your guess, Josh?
You just literally just put sex toys in my head, so.
I didn't put anything in your head.
Not literally, I hope.
I don't know. A steering wheel.
Steering wheel is it's a good guess, but it's not right. Last one. Use it. My handicap is affected. Don't use it. Handicap is affected.
Oh, so close before, wasn't I? It's a golf club.
It is a golf club.
Oh,
very poor golf club.
That sounds like it.
Never on the good items that I get my reviews.
Yeah.
So we're on 1 star. We're on to our second product first review. So tight and not in a good way. After 45 minutes, I could barely walk.
Oh, wow. Really? I don't even know.
This makes so much sense when you know the answer.
Yeah, but you put my mind in a different place. So I'm like, I can't think of anything else than what I'm thinking of.
So tight and not in a good way. After 45 minutes, I could barely walk.
And not in a good way.
Yeah, not in a good way.
I don't know. I'm thinking about football, but I'm thinking about football.
You're thinking about football?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe 45 minutes. I don't know.
Yes. Logic's there.
But
yes, Josh.
No, I know it's not football. 45 minutes. What's he saying?
Well, I'm going to see. He's done pants before, so I don't think it's going to be pants. But I'm wondering if it's like socks.
It's not socks.
You said, look at your face. It's so damn smug.
It will be when I've told you the answer. You can pass. It's fine, Josh. That is.
Yeah, I can usually walk for 45 minutes, so I don't understand.
So it's so tight and not in a good way. What would go through your head with that statement after 45 minutes and you could barely walk?
Cramp.
Cramp.
I'm hopping on Amazon after this to look for cramps. I think that'll be cool.
I did say cramp, but yeah.
Right, that crab isn't right. I don't know how you
I said crab.
Oh. Is that your guess then? Are we saying that's your guess?
Yeah, that's my guess.
Okay. Comfortable, but the shape is absolutely bizarre. The base is so wide while the arch is so thin.
Saddle.
It's not a saddle.
Oh, fuck.
I ain't getting these two.
No, to join the club.
I got the golf club. The golf club was easy. There's just no context.
I'm like with these, I'm like a filth artist, just painting pictures in your brains.
Just messing with my head. Nah, seriously, there's no context, so I don't know. I'm gonna leave it to him.
Are we passing it, or you can pass it over to Duncan to have another shot, but he's really shit at his extra guesses.
A trainer.
I'm gonna give it you. It was football boots.
Oh, so I wasn't so far off his socks.
I was quite scared that he was going to get it on the first guess because he was like, "I'm thinking football," and I was like, "Is he going to say boots? Is he going to say boots?" Last review on that one. Very little give in these, and so little movement through the laces. So that was football boots. We've got 3 stars overall. Final product, first review. Don't work. Can only blow once and gone.
What?
Isn't it your website these reviews were on?
I'm not telling you. What could you only blow once and then it's gone?
A balloon.
That's a really good answer, but it's not right.
Like kids' bubbles?
That's another good answer, but it's not correct. Second review. Multiple tries of using different ones, even shave the tip, doesn't work.
Shave the tip.
Shave the tip on this just to see if it would work.
Pants.
That's another good guess. That fits with it all, but it's not correct. Duncan, what's your shot?
It's the blow part that's got me. And I can't think of anything that, as it often does. Is it like a billiard cue tip?
No, it's not. Final review. Thanks. 5-year-old asked me for one thing, and these jokers conned me. So, what would a 5-year-old ask for?
Toy plane
that you could blow.
Like one of those toy planes that you.
No. I think it's the final review, so I'm going to give you birthday.
Oh, candles.
It's actually the prank candles that they have.
Yeah.
We got 4 stars, which is somewhere on the leaderboard, but
There's a little bit hanging on.
You're not at the bottom. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it's not at the bottom. We've had a few 3s. We move on to our next set of icebreaker, which is crazy questions, random questions that we just want your opinion on. First one is, what would you like to be buried with so you could use it in the afterlife?
My guitar.
That's the most obvious answer. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I have a passion that comes out, you know.
I wouldn't have guessed with the guitar that's in the background. Okay, let's Josh, what would you like to be buried with?
Nothing. I don't want any expenses. Throw me in the river, throw me in the sea. That's it. I don't care.
You're primed for one of those ads, aren't you? The cremation ones that you keep seeing at the moment. Don't want a funeral.
Throw me away, innit? Like,
put me in the bin.
I want to be launched from a cannon.
Don't spend money on me. I'm dead. You're an idiot. You're an idiot if you spend money on me when I'm dead. Like, what are you doing?
Our next set of second crazy question. What's the best practical joke you've ever seen or heard of?
Oh, I had an old mate who he'd been in university, and in the university, the guy in the dorm next to him, the room next to him, had got out for the night, and him and his mate went over and got into his room and took the door off, and then took the hinges and put them on the top. Okay. And reattached it so it opened like a cat flap. So he came in and it was just like, whoa.
So I love it. Falling forward rather than as you're trying to push it, it just goes in.
Because he's come home and he's pissed out of his mind anyway. He's like, whoa.
That's a lot of work for a practice.
It's so commitment.
Yeah. Josh, what's yours? What's the worst practical joke you've ever heard of? Or any of your mates played on you, or you played on your mates?
Like, I seen a mate, it's a very simple joke. It was simple.
Go on.
He literally we was out at night, pissed up, and we was walking home, you know, when you get fab and whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I was over the other side of the road, and he was crossing somebody, and he said hello to somebody, and the guy went hello, and he went, "You can see me?" And it just legged it.
That's become a trend now as well. People are trying to fool people by saying that. Mine one was quite bad. It was on my best man, actually. And this going back years and years when I think it was Game Station. They were doing like swap games and stuff. So you take it in for credit and you swap it for another game. My mate said one Saturday morning, do you want to come in town? And we'll swap some games and I'll take it in. I was like, yeah, I've got nothing to do this weekend. So went down to his house and he had his pile of games. There was about 3 or 4. So he said, I'll just go to the toilet and then we'll go. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. So he left his games there and he went to the toilet. And I opened up one of the games and took the game out and then grabbed the blank disc that he had and wrote, I can't actually say the name of what I wrote on there, but it was referring to a certain sector of porn that's quite embarrassing. So I wrote it on the disc and I put it in the games case. So we went into town and went to Game Station and he's like, can I swap these? And the first thing they do is they open up all of them, make sure the discs are in good condition and it's the right one. And this guy opened up the case and saw, we'll cut it. But I will tell you, it was Chicks with Dicks 2, Ass Bangers Revenge or something like that I wrote in there. My mate's face, because he went, I don't think this is the game. I don't know where the disc is. And this guy was mumbling. And he handed it to my mate, and my mate's face just went purple. And the first thing he's looking for, he turns behind and he's looking for me. He knows that I've done this. And you see that prudish cat. I'm in tears in the corner of the shop, looking at his face. So,
I love those sort of stories. One I did early on, back in the very early days of mobile phones, because I was working for a mobile phone company. I was one of the sort of first to have them. And we were over at a friend's place and his sister was waiting on a really important phone call. And so we're sitting there in the living room and she's sort of hovering about and popping out and again, sort of look at the phone. Right? So I just started ringing from my mobile and it would ring. She ran up to the phone. And as she got there, I stopped. We did this for like 45 minutes and she was getting more and more agitated.
I did see one on TikTok. A guy who had a BMW and basically you press a button and it opens the boot. And his missus had done a load of shopping. She had all these bags and she came out and she's fully loaded. And she's walking down the drive and the guy's got the spare key in the window and he's opening the boot. And she kind of looks, walks back, puts the bags down, shuts the boot, picks the bags back up, starts waddling again. The guy opens the boot again. He did this about 6 times and she's slamming this boot down.
I love it. There was a great one in Australia when Australia had the Olympics in 2000. There's a well-known like media, sort of presenter type guy called Richard Wilkins in Australia. And he's not liked. He's sort of not in the same way that Piers Morgan's not liked, in this way that he's just a bit of a knob and no one really thinks that much of him. But a radio show, it was on April Fool's Day of all things, and they did the thing that, Sydney's lost the Olympics. News just in, it's been stripped. And Richard Wilkins got hold of this and went straight onto his TV show, which is like Good Morning Britain, but in Australia. And saying, news just in, Australia's been stripped of the Olympics. It's not happening. We'll get you more information as it comes. Kind of all just an April Fool's Day joke. No. He's never lived it down.
Okay, well, we'll kick off the podcast. First off, Josh, thanks for joining us today. Real privilege.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we can't thank you enough. And the guests make this show. So thank you so much. I do want to ask a question because you're a boxer. And the one question I want to ask you, who would win out of Joshua and Tyson Fury?
Oh, Tyson, please say Joshua and Joshua.
Joshua.
Surprising me.
AJ or Tyson Fury? What is the percentages of, say, AJ coming out with a win?
That's a tough question. That is a tough question.
See, my money is it going the entire length, 12 rounds with Tyson Fury winning. I think that would happen.
Not bad shout. But
I don't think he's got the punching power, Tyson, to knock out AJ, but
no.
He's got a lot of skill. He leans on his opponents. He's what, 18 and a bit stone, maybe 19 stone. No, in fact, I think he might be in the 20s.
Yeah, he's big.
And he kind of drowns his opponents and saps their stamina. But I don't know. I think Tyson, but it would be the distance.
Well, if he didn't get up that fight with I can't remember his name.
Wilder.
Yeah, Wilder. If he didn't get up, I would have said AJ. But Tyson Fury literally has he's unbelievable. Like, to get up from that, you can't count Tyson Fury up from nothing. Like,
and that was a hell of a shot. When you see it in slow motion, that the way Wilder hit him, and it literally knocked him out. And for him to wake up and drag his 20 stone body up with shaky legs and everything, and to be fine with it within 10 seconds, that's
inspirational.
That is a feat on its own. I
mean, that's something like history's never seen.
No. Maybe in the WWE with Undertaker, but that was obviously fake. But it's no, he's something else. I know he's hated in a lot of by a lot of people, Tyson Fury, but his boxing. Who would you say is the pound for pound best boxer in the world?
Are you saying like now or before?
Right now. Would it be heavyweight division? Would it be someone like Lomachenko or?
I'd say Floyd's the GOAT. Yeah, Floyd's the GOAT. Pound for pound. I don't know. There's a lot of good boxers out there.
There is a lot.
There's a lot of good boxers out there. So it's a difficult one. But I would say the best division is welterweight.
Yeah, definitely. We'll move on. We'll come back to boxing, but those were just two curious questions that I wanted your opinion on to see. Everybody
going to the bookies straight after this.
So you find on the internet, everybody seems to be the greatest pound for pound boxer, and all their opinions matter. And
Pacquiao was the greatest pound for pound, like people thought, but then he got knocked straight out.
He did. He's getting on a bit now, though. But Josh, we'll talk about you now. Tell us about. Let's start at the beginning. Tell us about your upbringing and where were you born?
I was born in High Wycombe, so that's Greater London.
Yeah,
if you know Buckinghamshire.
And what was your upbringing like?
My upbringing, well, basically, I'm not even sure how I'm here, but I don't know how you describe it, baby. My mum was on drugs when I was, like before I was conceived, right?
Yeah.
And I was brought into a world of chaos and corruption and things like that. And the normal thing, but the things that would go on in the crackdown. So that was the start of my life.
How I mean, when you look back at that, how do you feel about that now? Like, that must have had some pretty dramatic effects on you, even at the time.
Angry. Yeah. Very angry. But I don't know any different. I do now. Of course, I know now difference. But it was just that's what I was born into. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was
you knew no different.
Yeah, I didn't know anything different.
What was because obviously you don't live there anymore. Is it Cornwall or Devon that you live in now?
I live in Cornwall.
Cornwall. What was the point in your life? Was it with your mum, or how did you end up in Cornwall? And what was the reason for saying, right, we're moving from London, we're going to Cornwall?
This is the thing, right? My life is very confusing. I feel like there's a lot that's been kept from me.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
Nah, I'm not sure. Like it just happened. It just happened. So
when you say that you feel there's a lot that's been hidden from you, in what way? Like things that were going on in the background when you were growing up, or
so much. My dad left me when I was born, and it just feels like there's a lot that's been kept from me. Like, why did he leave?
Yeah.
Me personally, if I had a son or daughter, I wouldn't just up and leave. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've never had those questions answered. There's just a lot of questions.
Do those unanswered questions play on you still? Is it something that's unresolved, or is it something you've learned to live with, that you may never find answers to those questions?
I've come to like the conclusion that maybe my dad could be dead. So I'm coming to the conclusion that maybe some of those questions can't be answered. Or maybe I have siblings, maybe I have cousins or something in America, because he went back to America when he left me. So it's just confusing. It's just
I'll tap in on this because I think my wife, and she's pretty open about it, is adopted. And I mean, her adopted parents are just amazing. But it's one of the things that she talks about a lot, playing on her mind, is that there's very likely siblings out there and family out there that she has no connection with and no understanding to. And it made her feel very isolated. And to this day, it still makes her feel that isolation, and it's not something she can really relate to. How much did that spur you on in who you are today? I don't want to jump forward too far, but I imagine that's had a real impact in, I'm not going to make these same mistakes. So I'm not going to make these decisions like you're saying already. When I have a kid, there's no way I'm abandoning it.
No way.
Is it because of how you feel now that you wouldn't want to put your child through that? Is that playing a factor on why you wouldn't leave? Is the fact you wouldn't want to put your child through what, say, your father put through you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I don't know what kind of person I'd have been if I did have my dad, but yeah, 100% that plays a factor.
And there's not a lot of people that would do that. It's a rare person that learns from someone else's mistakes. It's a very rare person. You see history repeat itself, that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It's a common saying for the reason that people do seem to emulate what their parents have done or learn. For you, it's very rare that someone would see what somebody else has done and learn from the mistake and not do that because, like I said, a child comes along, you do not want them feeling or going through what you did. You did, and you were quite open about it on the BBC. Was it BBC Three BBC mini 3 documentary? Yeah, which we'll put a link for in the description. You did end up in prison for, was it GBH? Because they didn't actually say, because there was a scuffle in Newquay. Am I right?
GBH.
Yeah. Because when I saw it, and obviously you spoke about it, it didn't sit right with me. Could you tell us a little bit how that actually happened and what the process was?
What didn't sit right with me?
With that, the fact is that when you were saying about it, and you were helping a friend, weren't you? Because was there two guys on bikes, and they were one guy, and he was being intimidating towards your friend, and kind of wanted a scuffle. You kind of came in to sort of break it up, and you knew that he was going to throw at you, and you kind of hit first and then walked away. You didn't go on with it, and you ended up with 2 years. But if the guy hadn't have done anything or wasn't sort of coming across and saying, "I want trouble," this would have never happened. And you wouldn't have ended up banged up for 2 years. So that was a reason why it didn't sit right with me, is that all they looked at was you threw a punch and you broke his jaw. But the lead up to that, that was all on him.
Yes. Like, thank you very much. Very unfair. I think I'm going to go through the courts again and try and figure a way out to get some justice on that. But I don't know. It's been so long. It's been such a long time. But you pretty much, you nailed it. We got into what I didn't, because I was in a good mood. And the two kids were, kids. Well, I'm saying kids now because I'm 31 now.
Yeah.
But I was 18. They got into, they was just getting into stupid arguments all the way up the street. If you know Nuki, coming up and, you're going to go past loads of bars.
Yeah.
And they were just being boisterous. They weren't really, meaning any harm. And they got into an argument. How they got into an argument were foreign guys because they didn't know the language, so they could get into an argument with anybody. So we was walking and we was looking for the car that we was meant to be getting in to go home. So that's what we did. And we was walking and this guy just kept following us, from the argument. He was on the bike. He was the one on the bike. And then he kept running over my mate's foot. And my mate was like, "F off," you know what I mean? And then he headbutted him off the bike. And they got into it. And then this other guy came over from the other side. And I said, he was going to go and get involved. And I was like, "No, don't do it." And then he went to throw a punch. So then I hit him. It's just because I can see it before. I'm trained to see it. That was it.
There's 2 points there, and I do understand that you're trained to see it, because a lot of boxers have turned and said, because fists are so fast at a professional level, you don't look for those. You look for the movement in the shoulder and the hips. The second thing is that I don't think I've ever heard a case of so blatantly self-defense in my life. Someone's thrown a punch at you, you punch back to get them away. I mean, it's kind of self-defense, isn't it? What else are you supposed to do? When you said about it on BBC Three, when you said that you had 2 years for it, I couldn't wrap my head around it. Why? I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Crazy thing is, I've never been arrested in my life before.
So previous convictions.
That wasn't on any sort of previous patterns of behaviour or anything like that.
I went to school, finished school. I went to college, finished college, and then I went to an academy and finished my PT diploma, or what you want to call it. But I became a PT, and I was a boxer. I got asked to be on the Olympic development squad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So at this time, I was going for a court case. This court case that we're talking about, I was 18 months, I think it took. But at the time, I was on the Olympic development squad.
Do you think race had anything to do with this, and the fact that your sentence was so severe without a record previously?
I think with the judge, yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly think with the judge, but I think my view on race is it's individual. Racism is individual. Basically, if you call me a dickhead, you're still going to piss me off. If you call me a nigger, you're still going to piss me off the same way. Yeah. So people look at things like, I call you Baldy, right? Yeah.
My family do.
Do you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying? It's just a description of the person that might annoy them. But yeah, I think with the judge, there was racism.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize it was so long ago, because it's only recently that it's been brought to light, these certain actions that these people take. I think it was still prevalent back then. And I think it just doesn't make sense. You had no previous convictions. You weren't a menace to society. You were on your way. You were on the Olympic development team. what possible reason could you send a young man with no previous convictions on his way to being something spectacular?
Yeah.
Away for 2 years. What is the benefit to society? What reform were you going to get from 2 years inside that you wouldn't have straight away?
I'm going to switch to, so you went through this and you went to prison. What's the, one of those things that the thought of prison terrifies me. From what I see, I watched 60 Days In, and you just see what the jails like. I mean, obviously that's America, but it's like the thought of having to exist in that environment, and you hear just nothing but horror stories. What was it like for you having to go into that? Like,
I think because I've been through those horror stories, like when I was young, it wasn't so hard for me. Like, it wasn't really hard for me. It was more boredom for me. Like, people say holiday camp. No, I'm saying, like, I'm not saying it's easy. I threw myself into training, and I just kept myself to myself. Like-minded people that like to train. But yeah, you saw some horrible things, some like disgusting things that people do to each other. Like, I can't say it on here what people did, because it's ruthless. It's ruthless.
Yeah.
Is that something that helped you while you were doing your sentence? Is it something that helped you, that you had direction, that something that you could focus on to improving yourself, working out and doing different bits? Did that make your time easier?
Well, my best friend, and I'm godfather to his child. Actually, a funny story is there was like banging on my cell, not my cell, my wall. Like, every night there was banging on my wall. Like, so you're twoed up. And so he was next door. Like, I hadn't met him yet. And like, he came out. He was the only one that came out. So I was like, are you banging on the wall? And what I didn't know, he thought I was like trying to like start something.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And he was thinking like, oh shit. And then it didn't come to nothing. And then we ended up on the same circuits and gym and stuff like that. I didn't know he was from the army. He didn't know I was a boxer. Okay. And so like, we was on circuits, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna boss this. So I was in front, and I thought everyone would be like way behind. This guy's on my tail. I'm thinking like, who is this guy? Like, what's going on? And yeah, he was just on my tail. Every single circuit, he was on my tail. He was chasing me. And eventually we became friends.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we just became friends. We just and we went to the gym together, and yeah, that's what got me through. Me and him, yeah, bros for life now.
That's really cool. Yeah, I love when there's doesn't matter what the situation, you can pull something positive out of it in one way or another. And cementing that friendship sounds like it was exactly that. Do you think the fact that you were, obviously, as you are a boxer, you were a boxer back then, did that help you with your confidence going in that you knew you were going to be able to handle yourself if shit kicked off?
Well, yeah. And then I saw the size of the guys.
It's hard to knock someone's head off if you can't reach it, isn't it?
I was like, these are men.
The fuck is this mountain in front of me?
So I was like, I'm getting in the gym, because when I was boxing, I wasn't pushing weights. I was boxing technique and hitting bags and stuff like that. Yeah. These guys have been in there for murder and stuff like that, and they've been there and they're pushing weights every day. And I've come in thinking, yeah, I'm going to be like, boom, like I'm going to be. And then we had like a tutorial and a gym tutorial. So we got there and I was like, yeah, I'm going to look hench. I got there. I was like one of the littlest guys
there. Didn't even Conor McGregor, he made a really good point. He said, look, I can fight anybody. But you put 3 or 4 guys against me, I'm getting my ass kicked. Doesn't matter about my fighting ability. You got 4 against me, I'm done. And I guess that kind of translate to when you go in. If you've got, doesn't matter if you've got the fastest, strongest hands in the world. It's not like the movies where they can, I don't know, fight loads of people off all at once.
And they all wait to take their turn. I love that.
So
it's like, I'll take this guy. Now you can go.
But they kind of
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but like, I actually prefer. I do like a one-on-one, but like on the streets, I'd probably like 3 or 4 people because they get in each other's way.
Yeah,
good
workout.
They're just getting in each other's way. So like, if they're like drunk and but if they're like sober and like know what they're doing, then he makes it.
Something that really interests me is that when you're thrown into that situation, like you were saying, you got in there, you're with rapists and murderers and people who've done some horrific things. What was it like suddenly being confronted with the humanity of those people?
Because, again, I go back to I've been around those kind of people when I was a kid. I'm not just like I have a beautiful family. My family is amazing. My nan's so supportive. Well, it was at the time that it was just chaotic. My mum was chaotic. I don't know. I don't really know what happened to her to make her the way she was. Bad crowd, whatever it was. So I'd seen those type of people already.
Yeah.
So it didn't really bother me.
Yeah. I mean it from the perspective of, because for me, and you see these things painted, it's well established on this show. I love true crime documentaries and stuff like that. But it's so easy to demonize a person based on their actions because they've done horrific things. But I try and remind myself a lot that behind that's still a human being. And when you see some of them interviewed, you kind of, and they're engaging, and it's like, well, actually, there's more to it than just an action. And I guess that relates back to you. So many people, I'm guessing, have just judged you on that one action and the consequences. And they completely miss the rest of the human being that may have made a mistake, may have been given an injustice, may have been whatever, but it doesn't change. There's a depth to every person, every human being. There's so much more to them than the actions that you see represented in 30 minutes of TV,
Well, and unfortunately, shit sticks.
It does. You hear of someone that anybody, you turn around and say, they were put down 2 years GBH. What's the first thought that most people think? They're trouble.
Exactly.
Don't want to go near them, won't hire them, or I don't want to be associated with them. They've been in prison for violence and all that sort of stuff. It's the first thing. So you're absolutely right. Shit absolutely sticks. And it's a shame. It was Duncan's point about it. We'll move on to present day, though. How is the boxing going? Are you still throwing, or are you still focusing on that?
At the moment, I'm actually concentrating on film.
Oh, okay.
So I'm making a film at the moment.
Wow. What's the film? Tell us about this.
Can't tell you.
Can't tell you.
Oh.
You have to wait.
Can't tell you.
We've got another Simon.
I mean, I really want to pick. Is it bio? Can you at least tell us that? Is it biopic, or is it a new idea that's just come out of the top of your head?
It's very complicated. I think there's going to be a short film coming out soon.
Wicked. Well, I tell what we can do is when you're able to tell us more, we'll definitely talk about it in future episodes and stuff like that. That sounds awesome. When you came out from jail, what I loved about watching the BBC Three documentary and reading a bit, you clearly came to a point where, and you said, I was talking to Chris about this. You see so many times people in those situations, and they become. I'm going back to the Shawshank Redemption here, which I'm sure isn't the best example of prison life, but the idea that you become institutionalized, and you do see that, people who just become a revolving door, repeat offenders going in and out.
Mm.
You came out and you said in the documentary, you almost made a conscious decision that I'm going to change my life now. What led to that decision? What sort of processes went through?
What the documentary didn't see is that I've been to prison twice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I went as a youth offender and I swore I was never going to go back. And then I got into another fight and I went back. And then after that, I was embarrassed, like, because I was seeing the same people.
Yeah.
Like you go back and you see all the same people that you saw before. And I just thought,
yeah,
I'm not going to be that person. Like, I ain't going to be the person. Like, you're going to expect to see in jail when you come back to jail.
Did you see yourself as better than them? Not in a bad way, but did you look at them and went, I don't want to be like them. I'm better.
I'm better than this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted better for myself.
Yeah.
Self-respect thing, isn't it?
Yeah, like if that's the life they want to lead, that's the life they want to lead. I didn't want to lead that life.
So how did you go from that to actually putting it into action?
I don't know. I'm not a criminal. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, on paper, I suppose I'm a criminal, but I'm not criminal-minded. I started thinking a little bit more instead of trying to prove myself, walking away from things.
Was it fairly organic, or were you actually having to go, no, I've got to stop now?
Yeah, pretty much, no, I'm going to stop them. It was more like I needed to prove to them that they ain't what they think they are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I don't remember a time where I've ever started a fight. But I've always ended a fight. And I know that sounds big. I get it. But
no, it's just fact, isn't it?
It's just the fact. You
don't come along as a superhero going, I end fights. It's like you've done.
That's a hell of a CV.
Yeah.
Special skill.
I end fights. It's just a factual statement, is that the fights didn't carry on.
I'm going to put that on my CV still.
Yeah, I end fights.
What do you see for yourself now moving forward? Now, you've spoken about the movie, which we can't talk about, but obviously that's in the process of happening.
We'll talk about on a later date, definitely.
Yeah. What's next for Josh?
This is where I'm going with all of this industry. I want a platform to make sure people don't make the same mistakes that I've done, I got myself into. I mean, like being on an Olympic squad and Olympic development squad, and then just one night out changed my whole life. So I'd like to speak to people. I actually spoke to 1,000 kids when I was actually in jail. They took me out. Yeah, they took me out of jail with another prisoner inmate. And we went and spoke to 1,000 kids and just told them, like, we were just dropping some knowledge and
being real.
Not to do the same thing. Yeah, just being real. And they loved it.
I can see why, but I mean, what threat do you pose to society that they can take you out of prison and speak to 1,000 kids, but then take you back to prison for you to complete your sentence?
Did they really win in like a Hannibal Lecter cage or anything?
I was allowed to roam around the school. So like if I needed to go to the toilet, I could just go to the toilet.
So they trusted you enough. I'm not saying they shouldn't trust you. It's more the fact that you were there and they trusted you to do all this while completing a sentence. It makes absolutely no sense. What the hell is wrong with the justice system? I sound like Piers Morgan, actually.
Yeah.
No, bro, you're completely right. Because I was thinking, like, why didn't just let me go home then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're fine to wander around the school and go toilet and stuff. Just let me go home. I don't pose a threat, obviously. So
no cuffs, nothing. Just like there's no one that no one's like coming with us. There's no officers with us. If you wanted to go to the toilet, if you wanted to leave the room, you could just go.
I want to ask, so I think this is probably a good place to sort of round it up, but you're wanting to inspire others. You're doing stuff to do that. If someone's watching this, if they've got kids or if they are a person themselves who is at this point with a juncture where they've got that crossroads that you've faced and you're going to go one way or the other, where can they go for support? What can they do that they can get the help to make those same decisions and get their life on a positive track?
If I'm honest, I would say it'd be people like me, people that have been through it.
Yeah.
So, like, if you haven't been through it, it's like, I can see, like, you're quite naive to prison. You're quite naive to my side of life, right? That I'm not like
100%. No argument. Yeah.
Movies and TV series. That is my knowledge. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I lived it, right? So I'm not saying I lived the movies. I'm just saying I've been there, done it.
You've had the real experience.
I think there should be some kind of platform for people that have come out and they have changed themselves, or not even had to change themselves, just they've gone through it and they can drop that knowledge on these kids and just tell them, like, because what I found when I was speaking to those kids was that they looked at me more than they looked at the police, because it was a whole day. It was like police, fire, fire brigade, and then it was us two, the convicts, criminals, whatever you want to call them. But they looked up to us more than they looked up to anyone else.
Because you'd been there, done it, and you had the life experience.
It was just telling them what it's like, what you don't want to do. It was just like relevant at the time for us.
Maybe that's something you look to in future. I mean, obviously, if they're bringing you into schools with 1,000 people, there's maybe setting up a platform for yourself to explain that if anybody does want, like Duncan said, some guidance or something like that, that you're there.
Yeah, but I also, like he said, like if they come to that crossroad, I just think like a healthy family, that's what you need. But
guidance.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all they need, guidance.
Josh, mate, I want to thank you so much for taking the time today. Just hearing your story and getting that insight has been huge for me. I really want to thank you.
You're the half of it, but yeah. Thank you for having me.
Mate, you're more than welcome. Our pleasure. I speak for Chris on that, I think, as well. But
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. I want to thank, as always, Chris.
Thanks, mate.
And, of course, again, Josh, you're incredible, mate. Thank you so much.
Cheers,
Please do hit that like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you know we've got new content going up. Also, we want to hear your comments. If you're wanting to reach out to someone like Josh, or if you're looking for that kind of support or you're wanting to know more, leave it in the comments. We will get any messages forwarded to Josh so that he can respond if needed. Stay safe, everyone, and we'll see you again on the next episode.